divination.
Divination?
Yeah, and divination.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I think that most traditional cultures understand that there are types of intelligence that are not alive, at least not
Hmm.
alive in the
Right.
way that we understand alive in terms of biological beings that are
Right.
born and die. You know that they had a sense that there are agencies and intelligences that are transpersonal and that don't that in some ways run through human behavior and run through humanity. Um, and I think ancient people had mechanistic ways of tapping into those types of
Mhm.
intelligences. And they would have mechanistic ways, whether it was tossing something or throwing things, looking at relationships, almost like random relationships, and then qualifying those random relationships was a way in order to tap into types of intelligences that ran through their own thing, like a kind of technical, say, a technical way to access intelligent patterns that are coming down into the model. You know, sometimes
Right.
you can see societies become possessed with certain things. I think that's happening now. There are patterns like that I don't think we have the wisdom to recognize as it's manifesting itself. We might have them run through us without even knowing what's going on.
The fact that there are these huge patterns at work is, you have Struck's book on divination in the ancient world. There was a very strong distinction between sorcery and divination. Sorcery was criticized both morally and epistemically, but divination was taken seriously and it was carefully cultivated. And there was a social cultural project of distinguishing the two, trying to really constraining this one and really reverentially cultivating a proper participation in the other one. This is a possible project for us to
Mhm.
understand how we enter into proper right reverential relationships with things we only have an intuitive grasp of that in very many ways significantly exceed us. Yes. And secularism has kind of wiped out our education of how we relate to beings that might be more grander than us by eradicating a religious sensibility, and that has bereft us. So let's take note of what the ancient cultures have done. We can learn from them. We have the proof that this can be handled well. Is that happening right now? No. Could it happen? Yes. There's the Noah story.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
person that has the
Yeah.
right relationship to
that's right.
ultimacy,
That's right. And
right?
it
And
is
then
with
and there's a
technology.
technological response. The ark
Yeah, that's
is
Right.
right.
built,
I agree.
right?
I agree. I totally agree to
So,
that.
I
And
mean,
then even like in the Revelation image that I've given several times, you have these two images. One is the beast that creates an image of itself and makes it speak, and then seduces everybody by the speaking image. You know that, and then there's this other image of a right relationship of technicity and civilization to the transcendent. These two kind of are
Yeah.
put up against each other as two possible outcomes.
strikes me as kind of an interesting philosophical question. John, you made the distinction between divination and sorcery, and as I understand it, sorcery would be in a way using the transpersonal powers, these sort of higher powers, whereas divination would be in a way receiving, the disposition of receptivity. So in one case, you've got human ends that you try to then enlist the help of superhuman forces to. And the irony is, it's precisely when you're trying to use something that you become used yourself, and that's where you get this dialectic. Whereas divination, it's entering into a relationship where one disposes oneself to hear and receive, and therefore, in a certain sense, conform to something greater than oneself. And there you see, it's a very different kind of thing. And ironically, in a way, you enter into it more receptively, but that's precisely why you don't become then a tool of it. Divination implies the capacity to actually see an other as other and recognize and be open in this kind of radical way.